everybody, it's Michelle LaVore and
Devin LaVore
coming at you. And it's been a few days, and God has just been doing so much recently, and we're going to be talking about just some of the things that we've gathered this week and what the Lord is doing.
Once we've been gone for a while, there's all kind of stuff to share.
Yeah. But first, we want to just say huge welcome to all and any new subscribers, and also welcome back to everybody who continues to watch us. And we're so glad that you're here, and it really is our heart's desire that you're encouraged in your own walk with the Lord, and that you can just gather from what the Lord is speaking through us, and also for just
everyone can use it.
Yeah, and you'll be able to use it in your own life.
Yeah.
And also a huge thank you to everyone who continues to support us. It truly is just a blessing and a gift from the Lord, and we just so appreciate that. And if you would like to give to us, you can just click on the PayPal link below, and we'd really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And
it's been awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. A million thank yous.
Yes. So I wanted to just go ahead and just get started.
Yeah.
In our last video, well, we talked some about like the reaping. It's going to be bigger than you think, right? And we got this word at the end of June. It was actually June 26th. We got the word
6/26.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there.
Just like it was, let the reaping begin.
Yeah.
And we really felt like it was from the Lord. And it's just been so amazing to see how God has been doing that, and what it's looked like in our life. And I feel like this week, it's been such an interesting week, because there's been some things that were like, wow, Lord, this is amazing. Like, yes, this is the reaping. And also the wind blowing. We talked about how like the winds of adversity, or the wind is blowing, that the Lord earnestly remembers you.
Genesis 8:1.
8:1, yeah.
Yeah.
And how he was blowing on the waters for Noah, and those waters, which you could say waters of adversity, were lessening. And there was just a progression until the land was completely dry, and then Noah was able to come out of the ark. And so we were seeing that really this week of like, wow, like things are changing and happening. But then at the same time, there was stuff that was unexpected.
Really amazing things were happening.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Yeah.
But then at the same time, there's been some unexpected things that have happened. And it's just like, wow, Lord, like, why is this happening? It doesn't seem like it's what you're talking about. It doesn't seem to fit like reaping, because you think reaping, harvest, okay, you're just harvesting all this like amazing stuff, and it's great and it's wonderful. And so as we've been going through this week, the Lord spoke to me, or I was having a time with the Lord yesterday, and I really felt like he was giving me clarity into reaping and what that looks like in our life. And
well, just to clarify, you're talking about like there's been some like really good positive things happening, but then there's been some negative things happening as well.
Yeah.
And the Lord's like, that's part of the reaping as well. And it's like, what?
Yes.
How is that part of the reaping? Explain, please.
Yes.
And that's what he
that's
did.
What he did yesterday. So I just wanted to share this with you guys, because some of you might be experiencing something similar. And we're just going to go ahead and read from Matthew chapter 13.
I'm back. Excuse me.
And you're back.
A little too much Sesame Street. Anyway.
It's going to be Matthew chapter 13, starting in verse 24.
So right there?
Yep.
Okay, so. You want me to go?
Ready?
Oh, okay.
Read.
Went a little Creflo on me there, huh? All right, so another parable he set forth before them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is like a man who sowed good seed in his field. But while he was sleeping, his enemy came and sowed also darnel, which most common translations say tares, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Weeds resembling wheat among the wheat, and went on his way. So when the plants sprouted and formed grain, the darnel, weeds, appeared also. And the servants of the owner came to him and said, Sir, Did you not sow good seed in your field? Then how does it have, oh, darnel shoots in it? Darnell, that sounds like a bro I knew back in the day. Darnell, what's up, Darnell? Anyway, he replied to them, an enemy has done this. The servants said to him, then do you want us to go and weed them out? Oh man. But he said, no, lest in gathering the wild weeds, resembling wheat, you root up the true wheat along with it. Let them grow together until the harvest. And at harvest time I will say to the reapers, gather the darnel first and bind it in bundles to be burned, but gather the wheat into my granary.
Yeah.
And that's that one.
Yeah. And so, and I was just looking at this. Wait, you're going to want that back.
Oh, my bad,
Don't go nowhere.
Bad. Don't move without instruction, people.
Yeah.
Don't assume.
And so the Lord just gave that to me, and I was like, wow, okay, this makes sense. When you're harvesting, you're bringing in, you're gathering in everything, but there is also a separating that happens in that process. If you were to go harvest apples, you just gather every apple on the tree, but then you're going to go through the apples and you're going to look, oh, this is a rotten one. We get rid of it. Oh, this is a good one. We're going to keep it. And so there's this process, and it's with anything, any sort of fruit produce that gets gathered in, they just start bringing it all in, and then you're going to sort through it. Mm-hmm. And I really felt like that's kind of what the Lord has been doing for us, is that there is just, it's like, okay, he's in a way just like gathering things in our hearts, and he's like, hey, this is really good fruit, look at this, but okay, now look at this area, let's go ahead and just get rid of that. You don't need that anymore. And it's another way of kind of looking at the process that God does in our life, where he's like, all right, let's harvest for this season. I remember last year at the beginning of summer, we were feeling like the Lord was saying, hey, it's harvest time. It was a huge summer harvest, yeah. And he was talking about... He
made it very clear that's what he was talking about. God apparently loves harvesting in summer.
He does.
It's in the scripture.
And so it was like, oh, okay, harvest time. And it was honestly a very difficult summer for us. There were some really awesome things that the Lord did, but then there were some really hard things. But it was because of that summer harvest that we came out, and it was just like, wow, Lord, you did so much, because he took what was good in us and he stored that, because he's talking about bring the wheat in and store it in my storehouses. And so it's like the Lord's like, yes, I'm going to store what is good, and I'm going to then take what isn't good and just burn it. It's gone.
Yeah.
And of course this parable in particular, Jesus goes on and he talks about in verse 37. Yeah, verse 37. You want to go ahead and just read that? Yes, 37, please.
Okay, I had to regroup. So, okay, 37. He answered, he who sows the good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world, and the good seed means the children of the kingdom. Holla. The darnel is the children of the evil one, and the enemy who sowed it is the devil. The harvest is the close and consummation of the age, and the reapers are angels. Keep going.
Keep going.
Just as the darnel, weeds resembling wheat, is gathered and burned with fire, so it will be at the close of the age. The Son of Man will send forth his angels, and they will gather out of his kingdom all causes of offense. Kind of like what he does in our hearts, right?
Yes, exactly.
Persons by whom others are drawn into error of sin, and all who do iniquity and act wickedly, and will cast them into the furnace of fire. There will be weeping and wailing and grinding of teeth. Then will the righteous shine forth like the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Let him who has ears to hear be listening, and let him consider and perceive and understand by hearing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then just to add to it, I wanted to also read down here the
These
verse
two?
47, 48.
Okay. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a dragnet which was cast into the sea and gathered in fish of every sort. Yeah, okay. There's that example. When it was full, men dragged it up on the beach and sat down and sorted out the good fish into baskets, but the worthless ones they threw away.
Yeah. Yeah. And so basically, it's just this idea. You can put that. Yeah.
Praise the Lord. My forearm is just like killing.
But so basically, you know, in all of these parables and in the explanation of it, it's like there's going to be just there's the good wheat, but then there is also the weeds, basically, that look good, but they really are not. And the Lord is
like
talking
a sheep
about,
and goats type of thing too.
It's talking
as well,
about just there is a sorting happening. And so I really believe that, you know, when the Lord is saying, hey, let the reaping begin, or it's harvest time, we have to know that in our hearts, the Lord is sorting things out. He's like, all right, I've been sowing and we've been working on some things and going through things. I've been just doing so much in you. Okay, now let's just sort out. Let's bring out all those amazing treasures that I have, but let's also bring out those things that really were not me, or we need to just get rid of that, you know. And I think that also comes, you know, Lana Vosser came out with a word probably like maybe a week and a half ago or so-ish, maybe 2 weeks ago, and she was talking about, you know, there's like a breaking of the ceiling, going beyond where you've been, but also a ceiling, like a
closing
up, closing
and it's like
off.
You can't open it up anymore.
Yeah, and so I just believe that's part of what the Lord's doing. He's like, okay, let's bring out these some of, you know, bring in the wheat, but we're also going to be addressing some of these things so that they're no longer, which is really like what happens when things are burnt up. Now, ultimately, at the end of the age, that's exactly what Jesus is going to be doing. Only it's with us personally. It's we're standing before the Lord, and He's like, okay, yes, you're mine. Well, no, you're not mine. You're not a part of my kingdom. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, I don't know, it's been interesting because I'm like, wow, Lord, thank you for doing this now. You know, we've been listening, not as much, but just with how the Lord's been directing us, but to The Call, which is the second book that follows The Final Quest by Rick Joyner. And we started that at the beginning of this month. And he's been, once again, it's still kind of continuing on with the idea about judgment and how we really want to have the judgment of the Lord now because we're able to repent and receive His mercy. And so it's just kind of like the two, I feel like, have really fit together in that the Lord is showing us the harvest of like, and specifically talking with our hearts, like there's the harvest of, wow, like we're seeing breakthrough in things. We're seeing like, this is amazing. Like I wouldn't normally respond in this way. Now I'm responding differently. Like there is a real harvest in that. And it's bearing good fruit.
Yeah.
So there are areas where we're seeing us respond differently in situations. But then the Lord is also bringing things up where He's like, okay, we just need to cut this off, cut it out, or burn it up. Like this does not need to be a part of your life anymore. We're going to seal that door off where the enemy can no longer come in that direction.
Yeah.
And so it's just, that's really kind of what we've been experiencing. I think it's more, it's been both, just seeing the Lord move and seeing great breakthrough and fruit from that in our lives, and but then also seeing like, oh wow, we have to throw out some of these bad fish. We've got to get rid of that can't come with us. You know, we had, I think we talked about it, just this picture of going through a door, you know, and it was like one of our God times, probably a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
We were talking with our kids about it, of just like, all right, you know.
I think it was at the end of June, actually.
Yeah, it was like, yes, it was the invitation.
Like, we're going into something new. You know, we're going to do something different here.
I'm inviting you to come through a door. But in order to do that, I want you to get rid of things, you know, anything. Just let's leave behind these things that can so easily entangle. Mm-hmm. And and so then we can walk through this door, and I can do what I want to do in your life. And
God has definitely been doing new things.
Yeah.
And the reaping really has been happening. Like, so much that we can't even make videos about so much of the stuff that's been going on, and just what it means, and like the significance of why God did this and that in our life, and what it meant, and how it blossomed in us. Wow, this is amazing. We've been looking for this to happen for like a long time, and here it is happening, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just been really cool stuff.
Yeah, and it's been awesome too, because like I think it's funny, some of the things, it's like I'm like, wow, this hasn't been there in a long time, but then the Lord just brings it up, and it's like, it's almost like that final.
You're talking about like the ancient stuff?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes. You gonna talk about that?
A little bit, yeah. It's just like some of this like ancient stuff that's come up, but the Lord's just been like, okay, now let's just scoop
like
it out.
Like you haven't dealt with that like in 10 years.
Yeah.
Where's that coming from?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, wow. It's like, well, because apparently it's still there.
Yeah.
It's like a little mold in the corner of the shower there. Just it's just still there.
Yeah, but it's like,
put some
all right.
spiritual Tilex on that mess.
Yeah, so it's like, all right, here we go. Let's take that out. Because, you know, the Lord, he's, you know, with the fields, right? Any field that you harvest in, it's like you gather everything in, and then the farmer, he's going to, when the time comes, he's going to start planting more seeds, and there's going to be more that's going to be growing, and all of that. And so the Lord's just like, all right, it's almost as if, okay, we're wrapping up, like we've been working on stuff for a long time now let's just wrap this up, and we're going to go into something new. And it's really just kind of, I don't know, I just feel like it really is a preparation. You know, we keep Psalm 10:17 is something that the Lord has had just highlighted to us for quite a while now, of just how he's like, I prepare and I strengthen and I direct your hearts.
Especially this month. It has been just coming up again a lot.
Yeah.
Just a lot.
And just like the importance of it. And we can just see that really almost on a daily basis, of just how
Pretty
God's
much.
just like, I'm preparing you, I'm strengthening you, and I'm directing your hearts into just, and it's by small things, you know. Sometimes, you know, for some people it's like, that just seems so insignificant, and it's like, you really have, it's like, yes, it might seem insignificant, but for me it's like, oh, that's a big thing. Because just moving this much, it's going to completely change the way that my heart was set. And so it's just been really awesome to see God work in that way.
Yeah, and we've both had like some very huge, like the past, you know, since our last video to this one, you know, there's been so many significant things that have happened, but one of the most significant things is like the Lord has exposed something, and it's like, man, this has been with you for your whole life. And we are going to kick that out and seal it up.
Yeah.
And it happened to me one day, and I was just, there was something that it literally was sealed up in my heart. Like, I am never going to do that again. I'm never going to allow this to happen again. I'm never going to submit myself to certain things again, because it's always been a part of my life. And it just, a lot of times things that are just a part of your life, you just kind of give in to them without even realizing it. You know, I'm not talking about sin issues or something, secret closet sins. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about habits of thinking, or, you know, like sometimes you go and you get around your family and suddenly you're a different person, and you fall into this role that you play with your family. Or you go over here with your buddies, you know, my homies, what's up, y'all? Devin, what are you doing? Why are you acting like that? Well, because I'm with my homies right now. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's not you.
Yeah.
It's like, but why are you acting like that? Well, because that's how you act when you're with them.
Yeah.
And so you can fall into things like that. And it's like, the Lord's like, is that you? Is that really who you are? You know what I'm saying? Is that, and it's, and those are just a couple examples. I don't even do that I just exampled. But I'm just saying, like, there are so many different ways that we can fall into this pattern of behavior, and God's like, no. But some of these things that are patterns of behavior, they've been with us like since we were born.
Yeah.
They've been some of our deepest, most foundational core experiences, and we just fall into it without even realizing it. You know, maybe with authority figures, when an authority figure comes in, maybe you just have this way of just going, okay, whatever you say, authority figure, I'm not going to even argue with you. We're just going to do what you say. You know what I'm saying? Just so many different examples. And it's like that kind of level of like, we're done with that kind of issue, and we're sealing that door. We're welding that thing shut. You're never going through that door again. You're never going to do that thing again. Why? Because it's hindering you. It's caging you. It's binding you. It's pushing you back.
Yeah.
And it's like no. I'm never doing this again. Oh, I see. You want the details, don't you? No, thank you. It's good to not really have details, just to stick to the principle of the idea and apply it to your own life. Because God's probably doing that to some people's life for making this video, you know? Yeah. And it's like, I felt that. And then I think, what was it, the next day?
No, it was last night.
Or the day after?
Yeah, the day after.
You experienced the exact same thing.
You know, and it was slightly different, but really the essence of it and the spirit of it was very similar. And it was just
core
it was
thing.
like, yeah, here's something that, you know, it's like, for me too, it's been a part of my life since I can remember. And it was just like, okay, no, I don't want to do that anymore. And for me personally, it's kind of, it's just like allowing, instead of just saying what I'm thinking, I can allow others influence, like, and persuade me to either not say anything or to just kind of just go along, you know. And it's just like the Lord, and that's something that God has brought up quite a few times. But again, like this week, it was almost like, all right, let's just put this once and for all. Let's just be done with that.
Yeah.
And just allowing the Lord just to come in, and it's like, all right, you know what, you're right. I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to keep silent when, you know, because it is a hindrance. It's like, okay, I don't want to keep silent to not say something when the Lord's given me wisdom to say something, nor do I want to just maybe just give. It's almost like a giving yourself over and your authority of who God's made you to be over to someone else's hands. Yeah. You know, and it can be small things. Like you know, if you ever go into a store and it's like the salesperson's there and they're trying to like pressure you, you know, it's like, ooh, you want this? You want this? How about this? And
I think you should take this.
You should take
How about this? This really goes with this. And then you go into the dressing room with like
got like
13 things.
13 outfits, and
it's like,
you're
I just wanted to try this one.
Yeah, that's all I really wanted to do. But it's like, you know, and some people, oh, well, it's just you're nice, or you're too this, or, you know, and it's like, well, really, it's just it's the establishing boundaries. That's what I really felt like for me the Lord was saying. It's like, all right, I am establishing my boundaries, and it's like, for me personally, of like, okay, yeah, these boundaries they're for sure walls, and I don't want to be pushed or moved just based off of allowing myself to do that, like through other people, you know. And it's like, okay, Lord, no, I don't want that, because I want to be able to be who you want me to be, and that has to be somebody who's strong and unmoved by other things. And yes, there's, you know, of course we talked about it too, we're like, yes, there is humility and submitting therefore to one another, but it comes by the Spirit of God. Right. You know, it's not just because, you know, it's like, oh, you meet, you know, this can happen, you know, even with like prophetic people. You know, you might think, you know, or pastors or anybody who's in authority, I think, is a very common example. It's like you can give your you know, you can allow that to influence you more than what the Lord really wants. You know, it's like just because somebody's in authority doesn't give them the right.
Oh, well, so Pastor so-and-so said so it's got to be true. It's like, no.
Yeah. You know, or it's like maybe you have an authority over you that's telling you, well, you should, you should do this thing in your life. That's what you should do. But you feel like the Lord's asked you to do something different. But you really are just like, well, but someone, they said that I should do this job, but I'm really feeling like I should just stay where I'm at, and
enter conflict.
And there's a conflict, and that's kind of the arena of just like where God's like, no, stand firm in what I've said and what I've spoken to you and what I'm doing in your life.
Yeah.
And so for me, that was again just, it was almost like this. I was just at this point where it's like, man, you know what? I am not okay with this anymore in my life, in small ways and big ways,
because it's just a big hindrance.
It is.
And it's like it's the black lampshade over your life.
Exactly.
It's
and
like,
it's
why?
like,
take that off.
Take it off and
shine bright.
Exactly.
Like a diamond. Anyway.
And
let's get back in the spirit.
And but yeah, so it's things like that the Lord is like, yes, like I'm bringing all these things in during this time of harvest and this time of reaping, and so there's just this sorting that's going on, and so I just, I really wanted to share this because when I really felt like it was something that the Lord had to say to His people, but for you to just be encouraged, because if you are going through that, to just know that's what's really happening. The Lord is like, hey, I am.
That's part of the reaping.
That's part of the reaping.
Yeah.
Is the Lord going through and sorting things out and keeping what's good and storing it. I really loved that part where He was like, okay, put this into my storehouse, because the things that are good, they are going to be stored in our hearts, and it will be there to be used when it's needed.
Yeah. Yeah, well, because I know the toward the end of the last video, the Lord was really, basically the half of that video that we made, I know it was like 55 minutes long, but half that video, it was just like the Lord just kept putting into the physical. There's going to be physical manifestations. Let them know there's going to be physical manifestations. Debunk that idea that it's just all in the heart, and it's not going to be anything physical, and we're going to still be waiting on our physical promises later on, and da-da-da-da-da. It's like, no, let them know we're going to be reaping in the physical. There's going to be physical things, but it's like with this video, it's like, well, yeah, there's still heart stuff too. It's really, you're reaping the coin. On one side is heart stuff, on the other side is physical stuff. It's both. God is the God of our lives.
Yeah.
And He's not just the God of our hearts. But, oh man, you need some provision? Oh, sorry, I can't help you there. Go out and do something. God doesn't do that.
Yeah.
He provides for the whole person.
Yeah.
The whole person. Okay?
Yes.
Woo! Yeah. Inside jokes only we're going to get. And I'm not even going to edit this part, so keep going.
So I think that's all that we really have for you guys today. It's kind of a nice little, much shorter packaged video.
LaVore short in LaVore terms.
Yes.
I was going to say LaVore in short terms, even though we are short.
We are short.
It fits. It all fits anyway.
But I just pray that you guys are blessed, that you are seeing just the harvest of the Lord, and that you're able to just recognize, as the Lord brings in His harvest, He is going to be weeding things out, literally, like any weeds. He's like, all right, let's just throw that aside so we can just have the good that remains. And it truly is a gift from the Lord to be able to have Him just bring forth His judgment now, and bring forth just what He wants in our life right now, because we can experience the mercy of God now. And so that we can stand before Him in that final day of judgment, and He's going to be like, yep, you're mine. That's really just what it's all about, really, is just saying, like, the Lord is going to be like, you're mine, because you followed my ways, you kept my commands, and you've walked with me faithfully, and I know you, and you know me. And, so it's like, hey, come. Come.
You can keep all the rewards if I can get that.
Yeah.
And we already have that. So.
Yes.
So more rewards, please. Thank you. In the physical.
Oh, so funny.
We need a car. We need a house. No, I'm just kidding.
So
The Lord laughs. You know, he just be
does.
cracking up.
He does.
Be cracking up.
So, yeah, that's really all that we have for you. Pray that you guys are blessed. And until next time, we will see you later.
Talk and see. That's right. Love you guys.
See ya.
See ya.